Thanks a lot, Oprah. Sitting here, copyright striking me, but they might copyright strike me again if I use the Lisa Ling. Oh boy. And if you want to watch her stuff later on your own where she cannot copyright strike you, this is the interview she has with the guy who was her handler um, after he left. I probably should have there's probably a way around that. Okay, hold on. This is on Larry King. Okay, well we're gonna try Larry King. This is not on Larry King's actual website. I might just stay away from Oprah owned network stuff. That is a bummer. Definitely go watch that special if you're interested in it. But this is an interview I remember seeing at the time with a few of the mothers and wives from the FLDS who had their children taken by the state. I think at the time of this interview, they had not had their children returned yet, if I remember correctly. It's been a hot minute.
Yes, this is why I switched to injection-free weight loss.
I was eating healthy, working out every day, and nothing.
So we'll try that. The quality is considerably worse, but it was 17 years ago, so let's see. Oh, that's about as good as it gets. It's 240p. Wow. But all right.
We begin tonight at the El
Pivot.
Dorado Yearning for Zion Ranch in Texas with three women, all of whom have been separated from their children. They are Esther, Marilyn, and Sally, and they're in front of a bunch of other women, much faced with the same plight. Marilyn, we'll start with you. How many children do you have?
If I'm looking at my phone, it's just to make sure the link I shared works.
I have one.
Just one. How old?
She is 7 years old.
Esther, how many do you have?
I have 5.
And what are their ages?
They range from 6 to 13.
And Sally, how many do you have?
I'm going to add an addition to the post I just made to add that we're watching the Larry King interview. Well, sorry, y'all. And of course, my link disappeared. Dude, Tumblr's editing feature is so annoying. I just gotta say. Maybe it's just me and like my type of phone, but it's like if you don't act fast enough, if you bold or add a link to anything, it like links and bolds the whole post if you're just trying to do like a sentence or whatever. Okay, just gonna send that to the group here too real quick, but I'll go ahead and play this.
I have 9 that they have taken, ages 5 to 17.
Were you, Marilyn, were you surprised at the raid?
Yes, sir, I sure was.
What were you doing at the time?
I was eating dinner.
And was your child with you?
Yes, she was.
And Esther, tell us what happened.
At the time, I was doing what I call story and song with my son. We were singing and reading, and I was helping him with his after-school homework.
I, just again, context since this is a new stream, and I'm assuming if anybody sees this in the future, they're not. I don't know if they'll see the first part. This is after the raids on the FLDS compound called Yearning for Zion, which the Texas, well, and federal government, I think, was also involved in, but the Texas state government was involved in because they got tips that there were child marriages and child abuse happening like in big numbers. The FLDS are a fundamentalist sect of Mormonism that practices polygamy. Mormonism itself, as a whole, was founded as polygamy as one of its main tenets. They denounced it in the 1890s. These guys still practice it, as do many random groups throughout the American West, Western states. And yeah, these guys are being interviewed during the raid that happened in 2008 of their compound, the Yearning for Zion compound, which was very closed off, self-sufficient. Like they were not like being in constant contact with the outside world while they were living there. And there was about, I think, about 1,000 people at the time of the raid. The main consequence was the majority of the children were taken from the compound into Texas state custody, and they were interviewed. They were kept in kind of crazy conditions. I don't know. I might go into that a little bit later, but they're interviewing moms who had their children taken away from them. And again, if you're not into like Mormon lore or especially Mormon fundamentalist lore, a lot of these moms have, just from on their own, 10, 12, 15, 20 children, as well as children that they care for, like their sister wives' children that they care for. So they're like a one singular family with multiple wives could have hundreds of children, 50 children, something like that. The amount of children that were taken was crazy at the time. And that was around 2008. The original interview we were going to watch was from 2009. It was Oprah, but she copyright struck me. So,
And
And did they just come bursting in?
they said they want, there's a whole group of people out at the gate. That was the first we knew it. This was April 3rd. So we came up to the window to see what was going on. We could see no one out there. And as the day progressed and through the night, they came in, some of them came in, and had some of the girls questioning them. Through the night, I was watching out the window to see what was going on. I had put my children to bed, the younger ones. The older ones could not sleep. And the next day, my oldest girl saw these other girls going down, and so she came to me and says, "They're going to take me. Mother, they're going to take me. Don't let them take me. I don't want to go." And I just told her, I said, "Let's be calm. You're not going anywhere. You're right here with me. Let's be calm." Well, the next thing we know is, to me, it seemed like hundreds of trucks and cars came and surrounded the schoolhouse, and these armed policemen, they had taken the girls, got them on the bus, pulled them away from their mothers.
Sally, can you?
I think it's also important context at the time. This is not super far removed from Waco, which most people kind of agree was a disaster on the part of the ATF and the United States government, because children were killed during that siege. Mothers, pregnant mothers, like people, women and children, not just the cult leader in that situation, were really harmed. And so there was, at the time, I was old enough to understand there was a lot of sympathy for these mothers, because people kind of viewed it along the same lines that it's the government sticking their nose in these people's business when they've chosen to practice this religion, taking these children away from the only place they've ever known. like putting them in state custody, the foster care system. And there was actually, at the time, most people didn't know very much about Mormon fundamentalism. This was pre Sister Wives. This was like, I think maybe the HBO Big Love had come out, but most people, it was not part of the zeitgeist like it is like, today. Mormonism or particularly fundamentalism. So not only were the FLDS kind of a novelty to a lot of people, but I think the majority of people really didn't understand how toxic that situation was or exactly like what was going on. They just saw all these mothers who had sometimes like 15 children that they had birthed themselves taken away from them and bust into a place they had never been.
Hold on a second, Esther. Sally, can you say that you never thought, living the way you were living in the ranch and the like, that you were doing anything wrong?
I never thought I was doing anything wrong.
That's kind of a weird question to ask, especially if they were born in this situation. Why would they think they're doing anything wrong?
You
It's a
never
pure
thought
lie,
plural.
dear.
You never thought plural marriage was wrong.
No, sir, I do not believe that.
You never thought that a relationship between, say, older men and teenage girls and younger were wrong.
Again, in context, these people have been raised with this. Why would they think it's wrong if they're the people that they look to for spiritual guidance told them it was right, told them it was the way to get to heaven, like the highest level of heaven?
I would not. For my own daughter, I would advise her to wait till she was of legal age. I would not want her to get married younger than that.
Okay. I'm so sorry for pausing again, but there's a lot of my other video is going to be completely wiped from YouTube, so I just feel like I got to provide the context for anybody who watches in the future. Um, the party line for the FLDS at this point, when they were doing interviews with Oprah or Larry King or whatever, was there is no child marriage. We don't marry girls too young. We always advise our daughters to wait till they're legal adults to get married, and that was just simply not the case. They didn't really have any say. The mothers had no say as to when their daughters got married or at what age they got married. It was Warren Jeffs who decided when and who they got married to ultimately. And what was happening at this time was he was rewarding people who were very loyal to him with tons of wives, particularly underage wives, teenage wives. And some men would have 20, 40, 60 wives. Well, Warren Jeffs, I think, had like 70 or something like that. But and again, just for context, like, because I feel like there's so many little details. Warren Jeffs is the leader of this cult, this Mormon fundamentalist cult.
But did you see others at the ranch getting married younger?
Not that I'm aware of.
They're lying on
So,
purpose.
so you have never, to your knowledge, seen a younger girl marry an older person?
Not that I'm aware of.
And like I mentioned in the other video that's going to be deleted by YouTube, we're talking 9, 10, 11, 12. Like if they had hit or if they had their period, not even necessarily puberty, they could get married. And even before they had their period, they were being like betrothed to these men who were 20, 30, 40 years older than them, uh, like children, little girls.
Marilyn, had you?
Not that I have ever seen.
That's why they're all looking down because they know it's a
Esther,
lie.
had you?
Not that I have ever seen.
So all these stories are false, or just you haven't seen them?
I believe they're false. I believe they are false. Me also.
So you're saying there were no young girls at that ranch ever married to, say, men in their 20s or 30s?
And 40s and
Not
50s.
to our knowledge.
You never saw anyone having sex with an underage girl?
Well, they wouldn't have seen that.
No, sir. No, sir.
So the only thing that you dealt with was pluralistic marriages, marriages to more than one person?
Yes? Yes. Yes, we've seen that.
Right. Did you ever think anything Sally, I'll ask you, did you ever think anything was wrong with that?
No, sir, I do not believe so. But, sir, the reason I am here is because our children need us. And they have been torn from us illegally with officers with guns. And some of our children we have not been able to have contact with for 10 days to almost 2 weeks. And they have taken my handicapped son, who is 5 years old, and needs his mother. And they have refused to let me have him and bring him.
To the credit of the moms, it was kind of a shit show the way the Texas state government handled the children when they were in their custody. This woman is very familiar. Think I think I don't know if she did some PR for the FLDS after this particular interview, or maybe she's just been in a lot of them. But I'm gonna need to look into this woman because her face is very familiar to me.
Here, where he can be cared for. They deceived us and forced us onto the bus and sent us back here.
And not to pause again so soon, but it is shitty to not let them even speak to their children. As at this time especially, I'm sure they weren't providing world-class care for any children with autism or, special needs in any kind of way. So that is on the part of Texas shitty. Or
And they
wait, was it Texas or Utah? I want to say it was Texas, but
gathered us
maybe I'm wrong.
together at Fort Concho in the shelter I was in. And I was only there with two of
I might keep saying Texas because I'm thinking of Waco. So if I'm wrong for that reason, I'm
my
sorry.
children because they had already taken 7 of my other children. And I had no
Oh no,
contact with them except
it
maybe
says right
rain.
there, Texas.
And they gathered us in the shelter and said, we're going to take you to a better place where you can be united with your families. Get your families back together. Gather up your stuff. They brought in boxes and things, and so we could gather it up, and we marked it all, and they put us on a bus. We got on the bus, and the first thing, one of the CPS ladies came up to us and said, okay, now here's what we're going to do. We're going to make 2 stops. All the mothers with children under 5 will be stopping at the first stop, and mothers with children school age and older will be taken to the second stop. So at the first stop, they named which the mothers were that had to get off. On the second stop, they took us around to the side of the building and took out our luggage from under the bus, and then let us come out one by one as they counted us as we came out, and they would push us back if we were coming a little too fast. Got us in this big room in one central spot with our children, and there were armed officers all gathered round, and one of the personnel came over and said, we want the mothers to gather over here. We're going to take you in this room to give you some information.
Have you
And they
spoken
said, leave
with
the children here.
Have you spoken with your children since all this?
No, sir.
No.
We have tried.
Now let me get a break.
Get through.
We know polygamy is against U.S. law. Is it against God's law? We'll ask that after the break.
No, to them it is not. Okay, let's freaking ahead here. Oh, that's the end there. I
For as long as
wonder.
I can remember.
No offense, Jill. This isn't about you right now. I was gonna see if maybe they had another part. Wish we could have watched the freaking Oprah one. I don't know if we'll watch this whole interview. Growing Up in Polygamy is a very good YouTube channel and podcast if you're interested in any like the fundamentalist of it all. Oh wait, I think I've seen this one. I don't know if I want to do that because that's actually she kind of gets off topic there for a long time. I don't know when she gets on topic. Oh, let's see. I'm just gonna look up FLDS raids 'cause I feel like that's a good similar to the like what Oprah talks about in her interview when she's interviewing mothers who had their children taken and children who came back. And the one part of that all like I really wanted you guys to see was a interview she does with a child who is getting ready to get married, even though she lies to Oprah and says she isn't, who came back to the cult after her mom left and tried to take her with her after the raids. And the way she talks to Oprah is just so like cult 101 as far as like programming and what she's supposed to say. And I don't know what ever happened to her. I've been like kind of looking around, but oh, what's this one? Salt Lake Tribune. Sure. Maybe I'll look on my phone to see if there's like a maybe one more just kind of more substantial one we can look into before we're totally done.
They took us on a bus. They took us, and then they took us to a place. I don't remember where it was.
This
You
lady's
know, the
quiet.
Coliseum. And they said, all we did was get off the bus. And they said, all the mothers, you come right now into another room.
Let me look at the suggested videos. Well, unlike, never mind. I thought maybe there'd be a little bit better suggestions. Inside Bountiful Polygamy Investigation. I don't think that's the same cult. I want to see the Oprah. Oh, this is like a 5-minute clip. Oh, I'm really playing with fire. I'm really playing with fire. But I'm going to try to watch the 5-minute clip. If I go dark, it's because Oprah got me again.
Oh, good morning, sis. Did you wake up? Good morning.
Don't
It's
get me,
well
Oprah.
before sunrise on the ranch,
I'm transforming the content. Don't get me, Oprah.
and this day is starting like any other for Richard, Joy, Alice, Rosie, and their 9 children.
4:30, I get up. I'm
I really
generally
am playing
try
with
to be
fire here.
completely dressed, combed, ready for the day before I wake up the children. I start at 5. Sometimes it's a little bit of a chore to get the boys out of bed. Your face clean? Put it in your hamper. Good job.
We gather at 6 o'clock and have family prayer, and then we have a class.
It's a basis of our whole day. To set the day, to start it right, to have the children feel that sweetness.
I'll save most of my commentary for
Sweet
after this.
Spirit of
I don't
prayer,
want to linger.
sweet Spirit of prayer,
I know
let's
about this
do our
family,
line.
though.
Good morning.
The morning prayer class ends with Richard greeting the entire family one by one.
Good morning.
God bless you.
In our home, there are other mothers,
Actually,
and they're all part
maybe
of
if
the
I do
family life
this,
here.
maybe if I kind of break it up and get it off the screen for a second, that'll. So just while I do that, this family, one thing that happened when Warren Jeffs was in charge of the FLDS, especially after Yearning for Zion, the ranch got raided. Um, the state of Texas owns that place now, and there's no FLDS living there. And I think they're going to turn it into like a military training or police training area. I don't know. One thing Warren Jeffs did, though, was excommunicate a lot of men who were heads of big families so he could reappropriate the wives for men he wanted to reward for being loyal to him. This man, who you see in this video, we'll finish it, um, was one of those who got excommunicated, and his wives and all of his children got reassigned to other men. Sorry, I have a burp stuck in my throat. Um, and I don't, tried to look him up and see what happened to him in particular, if they ever got reunited. I didn't really find anything, but I do know that his wives were remarried to other men and lived in the new FLDS compounds and little towns for a really long time and had more children. At least one of them had more children with their new husband. But yeah, that's a crazy one common thing that is under Warren Jeff's rule in the FLDS is that men were constantly being pushed out, pushed out, pushed out, so that the few creeps in charge, including himself, but also like the people who would do his bidding, Warren Jeffs, could have as many wives and children as possible. And another thing that I'm good, like I said in my last video, but that's going to get me deleted. Uh, if you don't know about, Mormon lore, especially fundamentalist Mormon lore, the people who believe in polygamy believe that to get to the highest level of heaven, and their heaven is tiered. My dog's barking. I'm so sorry if you can hear that. Um, that the people who can get to the polygamists who get to the highest level of heaven have to have 3 wives, and they have to be living in harmony. So they have to at least be like friends and I guess working together and good with the husband and all that. I don't totally know what that entails in harmony, but so the more wives you have, the more chances you have to get to the highest tier of heaven because I mean, at least 3 of them. If you got like 20 wives, at least 3 of them got to get along, right? Like they gotta, like at least 3 of them have to be friends. If you have 50 of them, 60 of them, like Warren Jeffs did, of course, like it really increases your chances of being on at getting to the highest level of the afterlife, and that's why uh that's why Warren reappropriated, which I don't know if that's I don't know if that's a word actually. Why Warren took these wives and remarried them to people who were loyal to him to give them a bigger chance of getting to the highest level of heaven. And he consistently kicked men out, whether they were already married or whether they were young men who were going to be ready to get married. He would kick them out um, without very much care what happened to them or if they still had a connection to their family. I think Sons of Perdition is the name of the documentary about a lot of the young men he kicked out, which it's really
With
worth a
3 mothers
watch
and 9.
if you're interested in like the FLDS and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully that little break saved us from Oprah's wrath here. Oprah's copyright wrath.
Children in the house, we wondered how this all works.
We love them all as our own, but of course I can't take care of her new baby. So yes, we love
Mary Brown did. Mary Brown breastfed
them as our own, but they definitely
her
have their
sister wives'
mother that
babies.
takes care of them.
They're all mine, aren't they?
I love them all the same.
There's always a bond with your biological mother, yes, but we don't, in the children's minds, don't try to make somebody more than somebody else. So the children bond with each mother as each mother bonds with the children. Our lives are taking care of the children.
Each mother has her own bedroom.
If a mother has a child, then you just pretty well can fill in the blanks.
This is the
or
guy
spend some time with
who got excommunicated by Warren Jeffs.
father and mother together.
We asked Richard how he divides his intimate time with each of the 3 women.
We live a clean and chaste life, and we just don't talk about that. It's a pure love of wanting someone else to be encouraged, blessed, increased in whatever way, rather than falling to the passion of the body. So as far as how we love, it's a Christ-like love.
The ranch resembles a commune. Everyone pitches in and everything is shared. The families shop at the ranch storehouse, but no money is ever exchanged.
I'm glad this clip includes this part because that's another thing I really
Our food
wanted
on the ranch
to
is
say.
very fresh. Just about everything is homemade. Home created for each other with love.
The milk, cheese, eggs, and meat are all produced here. Around the corner is the clothing store. Almost all of the clothes are sewn right upstairs. The people here are surprisingly high-tech. Almost everyone over 16 seems to have a cell phone, and iPods are everywhere.
The flip phone.
We asked what they listened to, and they told us religious music and sermons. On a typical day, Richard leaves for
I
work.
miss the
Since the
iPods.
raid, he says many of the men have been forced to find construction jobs outside the ranch to help pay the mounting legal
Oh, that's something I really want to rant about, but I'm gonna wait.
bills. After Joy drops the older kids off at school,
See you later, Max. Heaven bless you.
all three mothers take the little ones to work in the orchard.
From the outside world. Probably as much as you guys understand.
Also, for my Tumblr folks, doesn't this look like Jill Dillard here? This lady looks like Jill
Wish you
Dillard.
happy. Happy.
It's hard for most people to imagine what it would be like to share a man with two other women, but here on the ranch, that is their way of life.
We just love each other. We do it together. It's a togetherness.
That's why we can love each other. It's because we love him.
Oh, we made it. Okay. We made it. I'm
Did
gonna
she
look
tell
for.
you from the very beginning if it gets really rough, I want to take?
While I'm looking for like one more substantial kind of clip about this time period and what happened to these guys, I'll rant about the things I wanted to rant about, which is primarily, I don't think a lot of people realize how involved in industry the FLDS still are to this day, and Mormon fundamentalists in general, not just the FLDS. Um, at one time, I've read something where they are the biggest, like they're the biggest. I can't think of the word I'm trying to use, but like local, like to us in North America, like human traffickers, in the sense that they move people to do work that they're not paid for in North America. The fundamentalist Mormons often have children who, like, from as soon as they can like do farm work on to 18, move children from state to state to state to do work for their various industries, still to this day, like happening right now. And nobody gets paid because, like they touched on here, it's kind of like a commune situation, like a lot of cults are, where most people, I guess is a better word, don't have individual capital or money or anything of worth. It's all thrown into a communal pot kind of a situation. Some do, especially men who are kind of favored can get their own, like the guy who I talked about in the last video, Oprah's handler when she went to the ranch. The guy who showed her around eventually left, and he was only able to do so because he had his own money from his own business that he had access to outside of the communal aspect of the money and the food and everything. But yeah, so the fundamentalist Mormons, I won't say the FLDS specifically, but there's a lot of groups, and got a lot of burps stuck in here, so sorry about that, but there probably will be more because I'm drinking Coca-Cola. Uh, Fundamentalist Mormons are one of, if not still the biggest group of human traffickers in North America because they are regularly moving children, teens, young adults to do free labor across state lines against their will, essentially. And with that, let's see. One more kind of substantial quote. I do see, or quote video. Oh, I don't know. What happens if I just type in FLDS? I do recommend, again, that one YouTube channel, and I think they are also like a podcast, like an audio podcast, Growing Up Polygamy. One of those guys, this is actually him right here. He's in this video, which is with somebody who is not a polygamist who was there touring. Maybe we'll watch like the tail end of that. He grew up in the FLDS. and is an ex-FLDS member.
Let me guess. You're thinking of going to therapy. And as a therapist myself, of course I'm going to say that's a great idea. But first,
I believe his wife is ex-LDS. She's ex-mainstream Mormon church. But
This 14-year-old.
We're not going to watch all of this. I'm probably going to fast forward just a little bit because I've seen this at least the beginning before, so I know a lot of it. It's just any questions that I haven't covered. Feel free to leave a comment. My link to my Tumblr where you can like send asks and messages is there. You can always send it to me. I'll answer it to the best of my ability. I'm also probably gonna put this on a little bit of so okay, yeah, this lady is ex-LDS. This man who's in the top corner here, I'm pointing, but you guys can't see what I'm pointing to. Man in the top corner is ex-FLDS. So he was raised in the Hilldale, what people call Short Creek community, which
Old home because he reached
That's interesting.
This property because
that a property that was apparently one of the 65th wife of Warren Jeffs lived here. It looks like, I'm assuming multiple wives
when the UEP
probably
was
did.
handing back out properties after a whole property tax issue that was going on, they were giving them and trying to let people reclaim their homes.
That's who we're meeting?
We're not meeting Brielle. She's not here today. She's fabulous, though.
Okay.
We are meeting Gladys.
She works here.
And she works here.
Okay.
And she also, I'll let you see how much of her story she wants to share, but she's fantastic. And
Former FLDS.
Former FLDS. And Brielle Decker, she donated this to the Dream Center so that it could become this. So she found.
Oh, okay. So this house is, I've only seen like up to here. This house is donated, I'm assuming, for some kind of education
The Dream Center is an organization that has different homes all over the U.S. And places to help people. And she was able to give them this home to be able to help these people.
No, I was wrong. I should just shut the fuck up and listen. Donated
so Gladys.
For people who need living arrangements, not for education purposes. But I love that she's FLDS and running.
Where are we?
This is, well, what used to be Warren Jeff's house. They reassigned the house several times, like they did to everybody in the community. And so the third person after Warren that lived here, he had, I believe, 8 wives. My mom had been reassigned to him, including my mom and 1 kids. This is what we're using now is a staff kitchen. The first time I came and visited here, I had walked over from Roland Jeff's house over there and walked here to Warren's house. And I came into this kitchen and they were serving dinner. Warren was sitting in the dining room there with his family. There was probably...
I don't know if anybody can see me still, but I just need to double check it. I got frozen a little bit. Okay, no, okay, that's working. Sorry, not to pause a million times, but where I'm watching, trying to keep my thing. Okay, we can play that. It looks like it's
moms in the kitchen at the moment, and several teenage daughters helping prepare a meal in this kitchen. These halls had carpet up.
And YouTube's got it out for me today.
Too about here. It was like this green floral carpet with a border thing on top of it.
Oh, they're hiding over there? What's up? What's up? It's all right. We know you're here.
Warren Jeff's room.
This was his actual room, Warren Jeff's room.
If you, and so this is his actual room, and then this is the only speaker that can go throughout the entire house. If that gives you an idea, this is a very large house, and he's the only one that can talk through the entire thing.
This was his bedroom.
This was his bedroom. Which is interesting because it's one of the smallest homes or rooms in the home. And he would actually brag about that. See, I'm humble. I have a small room.
Yes, he would. I remember him saying that.
Did you have a close relationship with him, or how was it?
Oh, in a way, yes. My dad's second wife was his sister. And so I knew him from then on, his sister.
So she was married to Warren Jeffs. His dad's second wife was her sister. Another thing I think people who are not super versed in Mormonism, even mainstream Mormonism, but particularly fundamentalist Mormonism, the freaking family trees are wreaths. They're circles. They're like.
Can we go down here? Is that okay?
Yeah, there was carpeting all the way down the hall. It helped with all these little kids that were around that had all these little hands and injuries. If they bumped their head on the wall or whatever, this carpet's all soft. And
so when did you leave FLDS?
Oh.
Interesting. How is it? A tough journey, or has it been liberating, or how is it?
It's liberating, yes. It's liberating. It's just like, I always have to, I wonder if what I'm doing is what's right. And so, when I was in it, I felt like I was happy. I was one of 4 wives, and I felt like that was the best thing for my kids. And This is great. You know, I have live-in babysitters. If I need to go do something, then I can just say, here, sister wife, you can watch my kids. And she's like, oh, sure, I'd be glad to. And I would do the same for her. And I had so many kids.
Your sister wives at all?
Oh, absolutely. Love them.
So you don't keep in touch with them, or do you?
No, they're still in the church.
They're still in the church,
They
okay.
refuse to talk to them.
So they were, in a way, like your best friends?
Oh, for sure.
Isn't it hard for you to have been in this world, left, but then now you're working in here?
I miss it a lot.
You miss it a lot?
Yes, I miss it.
What exactly?
And that's what, like, I totally relate to that. I think anybody who's left something that's whole lives revolved around it, but you miss it. And that's something I think a lot of people don't understand about people who leave Christianity when it was something.
The having people around all the time, if you have a tough day or need to talk about something, you have a sister wife, a friend you can just go to and talk to, and they understand your situation. And
right.
Have shoulders to cry on or laugh with.
Especially these guys, because they were so insular, and one family could be like a small town. Like Warren Jeff's family was a small town. It was hundreds of people, 60, 70 wives, like it was, you had everything, everybody you needed.
Hey, this kid got hurt, this kid's going through this, and we just always just like living best friends.
So
and the kids felt the same way.
You think you made the right decision then? By leaving?
I had to.
You had to,
I had to pull my kids out of a dangerous situation.
Okay. So that's when motherly instincts just come right into, and you do what you got to do.
I had to stay in the church for my kids.
Okay.
And then last year, so I had to just pull them out.
So when you were...
And when I say that, I think a lot of people are immediately going to go to sexual situations. What the FLDS does and what a lot of fundamentalist Mormons do is work trafficking. They like minor children, literally down to, I want to say 6, but at least like 8, 9, 10, moving kids across state borders to work for their various enterprises. And like I said before, a lot of people don't realize how involved Mormon fundamentalists are in American, specifically enterprise, but also South American.
When you were in the church, and say you came into contact with somebody like me, a Gentile, did you look really down? You try to avoid the outside world?
No, you're just a Gentile, so you're fine. You don't know better.
Okay.
And so you're just fine. We can talk to you. We don't go into depth or try to become friends, but you're fine because you're just a Gentile. You're not an apostate. You don't have a...
I'm not like Sam who left.
Yeah, you don't have a alternate intention to pull me out of the church.
Okay.
Oh, so this was the kitchen.
The maximum amount of people you'd have in this home was how many?
The maximum I saw was...
Monday.com is the best AI for work.